Hey guys, Demi here from Atlas Vibrations, and I am here with your Venus retrograde read. Sorry guys, once again, the Dyson has decided that it is going to purify the air at the speed of 10, which is at its highest, so it sounds like a spaceship that is going to take off. So sorry for those who are listening with headphones. But yes, so Venus retrograde in Leo, the dreaded Venus retrograde. But one of my purposes here is to open open you guys, like, your eyes to see what is happening around us. And I don't want people to sit here and do the dreaded doom and gloom, because let's be real here, you probably have been seeing people from your past coming back. You're seeing maybe childhood friends come back. You're talking to people that you haven't spoken to in years, and there's probably issues within relationships that you're seeing. So we're going to go over this, and I don't want it to be dreaded doom and gloom, and I don't believe that this is going to be as intense as we think it is in some ways, but we will feel it. Like, we've been feeling it for weeks now, and it's not a coincidence that this is kind of happening in lieu of the axis and the nodal changes between Libra into Aries, and that's about our relationships as well. So our relationships are a huge focus. Venus, the planet itself, is known for love, romance, the dolce vita, the sweet life, luxurious things, money, spending. It could even be focused on, like, art. So Venus does rule the signs of Taurus and Libra. So if you know any Tauruses and Libra, they like to buy nice things. They're very creative, very how do I put it? I don't want to say, like, materialistic. I mean, they can be, but it just depends on other placements in the chart, etc. But you get the drift with Venus here. So let's talk more about Venus in the retrospect of why we feel this so much, and this also includes Mars as well. So and their retrogrades too. We'll hit his retrograde. So Venus, our friend, she is the planet before us in our solar system. So I always give the analogy, this is our neighbor. It's legit your neighbor. You live on the street, you have your neighbor across the street, you have your neighbor next to you, right? And when people say to me about retrogrades, and I know there are some people out there who don't believe in them, and that's okay. Like, all it is that the planet is assuming to be going backwards in the sky, when it's not technically, like, it can't, but it's in its shadow energy, meaning that it is going to kind of bring up some things that we need to heal and revisit and relook at. And so you guys with Venus are probably seeing relationships, like we talked about, romance, your money spending, all of those things I just said, but it's almost like your neighbor, right? You look outside, you see, like, I'm looking at my neighbor now, like, you can see what they're doing, you know if they're home, you know kind of things that are going on in their life, and what they do does kind of somewhat affect your daily life, because their dog could be their dog could be barking too loud. Your neighbor's tree is falling into your yard. So you feel their energy, you see them on a constant basis, so of course we are going to feel the Venus, and even when Mars goes retrograde as well next year, you feel those more bigger because they are close to us, literally next door neighbors. So this is why you're going to feel this, and this is the most important time to slow down, as Spirit yells at me too, because I have not been, but slow down, to revisit your relationships, to sit with your relationship dynamics now because of those shifts. But now you guys get the drift. So Venus and Leo, okay? So Venus, we talked about. Leo, let's talk about Leo energy. Leo is all about the self. Leo is a childlike energy. It rules the heart. You guys have heard me talk about this in other videos, and those of you who are first watching, as we know, like, Leos, like, in their shadow energy, can be selfish, but this energy embodies creativity, courage, opening up the heart space, healing within the heart space, childhood dynamics, and what we bring to the table, in the sense of, on the opposite side of the wheel, we actually have a zodiac wheel. I don't know if we can see in this. Yep, so we have, no, maybe not. I'm probably in the way. Yep, there it is. Leo, and then the opposite sign of Leo is Aquarius. And as we know, Aquarius brings about our groups, our friendships. So us as a human being, or as a spiritual being, this Leo energy is about individuality. So to step into this retrograde is going to be about us more than pretty much anything. Childhood relationships we're revisiting, and that we need to heal from. So if you've been seeing people from your past come back, like childhood lovers, childhood friends, people that you have maybe fallen out of touch with, and maybe it's not every person that you've ever known, or vice versa, but it's relationship dynamics from childhood that are being brought up at this time that you may be seeing in other people. And what this retrograde is going to bring us is, what are we going to tolerate and what are we not going to tolerate? This is going to be about us. What do we want? What do I need? What do I need to work on to bring to my relationships? And who am I as a person in retrospect to my relationship? And so we will be seeing that we are going to need to have some strength and some courage. The Cowardly Lion from The Wizard of Oz is a great example and analogy to bring this up. So standing up for ourselves, having fun, seeing what brings us joy in our relationship. So we're going to see where there isn't any passion, there isn't any drive, there's not much fun in our relationships that we're seeing, or where the passion may have been lost. Even where we need to be more creative. Even like, I could even say this rules like hobbies and things. So things that we like to enjoy, activities, going out and having like, just having that moment of realizing the inner child never leaves us, and seeing that we need to have that inner childness, that playfulness, that joyfulness, like going out for recess every day within our relationships all the time. We're also going to see that reviewing our heart space. So we're going to be also reviewing where our hearts are not open, healing and having strength and courage to actually be vulnerable in our romantic relationships and our partnerships. And we will be seeing also review in like gifts and when it comes to money. So I'll segue into this. Leos love gifts. So if you have a Leo stellium, usually their love language is gifts. They love to have things bought for them. They love to be given things. Think about children all the time. They want new toys all the time, like, and they're always wanting like new things. So we may even be reviewing and seeing in this retrograde things that used to bring us joy, like childhood things, like shows that we used to watch, or like relating to our partners and things that way. And also reviewing our spending habits on big purchases pertaining to beauty, art, finer things, designer things, the luxurious things in life. So we even may be like trying to change our appearances as well. Venus is all about, and like Taurus and that energy, and even Libra, like how we present ourselves to other people. So these are some things that we will be reviewing, and Spirit wants me to touch more on the romantic part of it. So romantic relationships. You're seeing relationship dynamics and things that you have not healed from, so you're probably being like, this shit again, this crap to go over again. But once again, have a mindset, a growth mindset, to see what you need to review in order for your relationships to thrive and to move forward here. Some things that not to do during a Venus retrograde: do not change your appearance, do not dye your hair, do not go out and buy new clothing, don't do any of those major changes. Review it. The retrograde starts on the 22nd here in the US and it ends on September 3rd. It's about a month. So I hate to say it like this, and like my Sagittarius energy's coming through, just don't do it. Like, I got a tattoo during like the Mercury retrograde in Taurus, and even though it's not the same, it, like, my tattoo, I had to get it redone. So examples of things that will happen is the clothes may not fit right. You may buy the clothes and they will rip, and you might not be able to get a refund. Like those, like, it's those kinds of things. So this isn't the ideal time to be like, hey, like, if you're feeling the changes, review them. This is also not a good time to start new relationships. So like, not a good time to make things official, not a good time to get married or engaged, those kinds of things. And any kind of like serious commitments and contracts like that. So like setting like wedding venues and things like that. So these are review. Take some time to review. I don't suggest it. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. That's not me. Like, if you want to do it, by all means. If you have set plans, do it. Don't just do things because I told you it was going to change. But just things that may not bring the best outcomes. Hermit card fell out, so we're going to step into this. So some of you guys, like, I'm seeing that you're realizing that the passion within you, not in your relationships, but even in yourself, has been low. And wanting to maybe get out there, but this may for some have ignited a passion and a drive for you to do this. Some of you, like Five of Swords reverse, this couldn't even be even more fitting. So people you have had disagreements with, Spirit's even showing me that people you've had conflicts with, disagreements with, are being brought back up to kind of deal with. Some of you have cut ties with a lot of people, so you're seeing people that you've cut ties, like Spirit's saying abrupt ties. So the best way to kind of work through this Venus retrograde with the cards that just fell out is the Mother of Cups reversed. This Spirit is being very adamant about us stepping into our intuition, as much as I'm getting yelled at too. It's time for us to step into our intuition. It's time for us to get into our needs and kind of see what we want, but not be so overly needy. I think that some of you guys are dealing with codependent partners too. Like for some of you, you're dealing with a lot of codependent partners, or somebody's mother-in-law is getting too involved in your relationships. Is something that you're revisiting. Spirit also has the Ace of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune reverse. And so for somebody here, this is showing me that there have been, how do I put this? In a place where you're not in a bad cycle, but I don't want to say a negative cycle either because it sounds negative, but this is more about self-love. And I think that for some of you, these are more for singles or for somebody specific, that there is this part of where we're learning self-love and to really step into self-love and seeing where there isn't respect and seeing where this kind of energy is being called to be brought up. The advice that they give us to help navigate this is the Father of Pentacles reversed. Father of Pentacles reversed, King of Pentacles reversed is, we need to, for some of us, we're working too much and we're not paying attention and we're not grounded in reality. But the best advice is to not seek this commitment. For somebody, this is somebody maybe specific, but to not sit there and seek commitment and to be so stubborn and rigid. And once again, they're saying having a growth mindset. And for somebody who's watching, you're looking for a long-term partner and it's just not happening, but like just sit and review with it. The best practical action for us to take right now would be the Ten of Cups reversed. We got a lot of like water cards here. We got a couple major arcana. So we need to review what is going to make us happy, why our relationship dynamics, maybe with family, this could even be marriage, this could be kids, like if you guys have families. I'm single, not married, don't have any kids, so for those of you, you're reviewing your family dynamics, your relationships, your marriages, your connections, who's in your family, who's not in your family. This also pertains to a certain area in your chart. So mine is going to be in my house of friendships. So for those of you guys, look at your rising sign, seeing where this is. For some of people, this is in family, but we need to know what emotionally fulfills us in order to kind of move forward. And that's the key thing. And Spirit saying being vulnerable, being open, opening up our hearts, seeing where we also are being too selfish in our relationships. And so this kind of segues into something I've created for you guys. I have 2 minutes left. So I have now on my website, and it is also in my link tree, which is in my bio, so there will be a link for you to go to this Venus retrograde in Leo 2023 self-help guide. It is $15, and I took some time to sit down with my channel messages here to create a little healing guide that has 3 sections divided up into each. Feel free to go and take a look at it in the description. It pretty much states what you will take from the worksheet, what you'll be able to do with it, and it is questions to be answered that you can answer every day. You can answer them at the end of the retrograde if you want to. I suggest doing it more than once. There's a pretty decent amount of questions. I would say about 20 questions on there throughout those sheets that asks you questions about yourself and asks about, like, just an example, I'll give you a couple questions that are there, like, what are my needs in my relationship? Where have I been too selfish in my relationships? I need to be honest about my feelings in my relationships. Those kinds of things. Ask the questions about yourself too, like where are you not giving yourself enough love when it comes to your finances? What purchases are you making that are big spending? What things do you want that aren't necessities? So it's kind of a self-help survival guide to help you move through, and you guys get to keep this forever. It's yours. $15, that's it. It gets emailed to you. Actually, no, I lied. It's just already there, so you just click on it, and you download it. You can print it. You can do whatever you want with it. Keep it, save it, especially too if there's any other like retrogrades within Leo too. It's geared towards Venus in retrograde with Leo, obviously. So I really highly suggest doing it. I mean, I print my own stuff out and I do it. And it's actually like a really great tool to kind of see how you're feeling, get in touch with your emotions, and that's what I want you guys to be able to take with it and stick with this growth mindset instead of sitting in doom and gloom and thinking that, you know, this is not for a good cause. So I hope this resonated with you, and until next time, my friends, namaste.